Okay. Now, again, so we're going to solve quadratics today using the square root. Now, in the past, we've solved quadratics by factoring. All right, and then we came to some problems that couldn't be factored. So it appeared as if there were no solutions. But in fact, that is not true. All right, quadratics always have two solutions. Why do they have two solutions? Because the fundamental theorem of algebra, which states that the exponent with the highest degree has that many solutions. So if I said how many solutions are there to an x cubed, you would say there are always 3. Always. If I say x squared, there are 2. If I say x to the 4th, there will always be 4 solutions. All right? So in this case, x squared equals 76. There are going to be what? 2 solutions. All right? That's how you remember to include the plus or minus. All right, that's how you remember to include the plus or minus. So how do I solve a square? All right, you solve a square by doing its inverse. What is the inverse operation of a square? You take the square root. That is exactly correct. All right, so when you're looking at question number 1, we are going to take the square root of both sides. And look what happens when we take the square root of both sides. All right, we end up with k equals plus or minus the square root of 76. All right, and then of course you will try to break that down. All right, and 76 of course is, be careful, 4 times 19. All right, 4 times 19. So we have here the answer, k equals plus or minus 2 radical 19. All right? Yes, sir.
How come it can be a
Very good question. Because the square root of x can't equal a negative. Right? Now watch what happens. I'm going to do number 2 with you just so it's easier to see. Okay? So look right here. So if I take the square root of both sides, you're going to get k is equal to plus or minus 4. All right, now why does that work? He has a great question. Because when you're squaring it, right, 4 squared is what? 16. And also negative 4 squared is 16. Does that make sense? But if I said, what's the square root of 16, you wouldn't say negative 4. You would say the answer is what? 4. So we're good with that. All right? So be careful, please. All right? Be careful. All right? Number 3. So we take the square root of both sides. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 21. All right, Connor, listen to me. Stop staring at the board, put something in your hand, open up your iPad, and get to work, and write the problems down. Any questions with number 3? That's the answer, because we can't break down 21. All right? Now, number 5, kind of like we isolated a radical, we have to isolate the square. So I have to do what? Minus 8. Minus 8. So I end up with x squared is equal to 20. And so now I want to take the square root, x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 20. And of course, some of you guys are getting so good at it. Yes, I want you to see that. Don't put plus or minus the square root of 20 if you don't have to. All right, you automatically now are starting to see the numbers as what? Exactly. Skip a step when you can. If you're not sure about it, now's the time to speak up. Drew, you okay back there now? Yeah. Anybody else? Connor? All right, remember, it's all about getting you ready for next year now. Your grade doesn't really matter. Or it's trying to get you ready for high school. So don't worry about the grade as much as you're trying to get as much information ready for next year. All right, any questions? All right, let's take a look at number 7. What do I have to do on number 7?
Divide by -6.
Yes, so let's see if it goes evenly. M squared equals -414 divided by -6 is?
69.
All right, so M is equal to plus or minus square root of 69. Now again, you notice 69 is 3 times 23. Neither one of those is a perfect square, and those two numbers are prime, so there's no way to reduce that or simplify. All right, here we go. Number 9. M squared equals what? 81. So M is equal to plus or minus 9. Plus or minus 9. Connor, you with me now? Make sense? Showing your work, writing things down. Come on. Don't be lazy in the morning. I don't care if you're tired. All right, number 11. Divide both sides by -7. So we have what? N squared is equal to, somebody said 64. Is that correct? So now N is equal to what? No.
Plus or minus
Thank you. Plus or minus 8. Again, how many solutions are there for quadratics?
2.
2 solutions. That's how you try to remember, plus or minus. All right. Next, I have to do what? Add 5. So x squared is equal to,
Plus or minus.
good. So x is equal to
Plus or minus.
plus or minus the square root of 78. Now, does 78 break down? Well, 78 is 2 times 39, and 39 is 3 times 13. None of those are perfect squares. Is everybody with me on this? So square root of 78 is good. All right, here we go. So 15, n squared equals 1. So n is equal to plus or minus 1. Plus or minus 1. All right, 17. 7v squared equals what? So v squared is equal to, so v is equal to plus or minus 2. I'm agreeing with you, very simple.
Why wouldn't you divide?
Because to solve an equation, you work backwards. You eliminate addition and subtraction, then you eliminate multiplication and division. The opposite of PEMDAS. Now, what do I do first here? So 2m squared is equal to 200. M squared is equal to 100. So m is equal to plus or minus 10. All right, any questions with that? All right, so 21, what do I have to do? 495. So n squared is equal to 99. So hopefully you can see a 9 in there, right?
Plus or minus 11 radical.
Good job. That's how I want you to see it, guys. Break it down. All right. You good? Drew? Yeah. All right. Number 23, I have to do what? So 10n squared equals, so n squared equals, so n equals plus or minus, who remembers? 16 and,
Oh, 3.
yeah, 4 and 12 works.
So you have to break down 12.
Yeah, you have to break 12 down.
So it's
Yep. Plus or minus 4 radical 3. So 4r squared equals, so r squared is equal to, so r equals plus or minus 9. Two k squared equals, so k squared equals 73. Good. So k is equal to plus or minus the square root of 73. Okay? All right. Now, listen. Last year when I went over and some of the kids did not do as well on like the Jesuit exam, the entrance exam into their placement class. All right, they gave me some questions, all right, that were important. All right. Now, I know Tampa Prep has an algebra entrance exam. Personally, if you're going to Tampa Prep, their entrance exam is a little bit easier. All right, I haven't had many complaints. The algebra at Jesuit, a little bit harder. All right, and I think it's the same standard for Academy also, if anybody's thinking about going over to the Academy. All right, there is an entrance exam, and they told me these are the types of things that we had trouble on. All right, and so I purposely moved a little faster this year so I could get and spend more time on quadratics, because it seemed as if their algebra placement test had more to do with quadratics. All right, so we are going to be reviewing constantly the quadratics and making sure you're in good shape. All right, so that's what this is right here. This is kind of a review of graphing quadratics. All right, so I would like for you to kind of take a look at these and see if you remember anything that we've done from the past. All right, so we're going to take a look now at question number 1 to refresh your memory. All right, now I want you to remember that the formula for axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. All right, so here we go. Now, I also want you to write down that a quadratic is written as y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. All right. So now, from there, all right, I would like for you to be able to say that b is what? 0. Thank you very much. So x equals negative 0 over 2 times 1, which is automatically what? 0. So the axis of symmetry is x equals 0. All right. Now, to find the vertex, I plug 0 in to the equation. That's all I have to do. Plug 0 into the equation. So my vertex is y equals 0 squared minus 16, which is negative 16. So my vertex is 0, comma, negative 16. From there, my y-intercept, remember what y-intercept was? Very good, whoever said that, thank you very much. It is 0, comma, c. So in this case, the y-intercept is the same as the vertex. All right, so we're going to write down 0, comma, negative 16. All right, now we're just going to rough sketch this. All right, we're going to rough sketch it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a grid in here. All right. All right, you can see it's very simple. All right. All right, now, all right, on here, now let's make our x and y axis. Now keep in mind that I have to go down how many? I have to go down 16. So I'm going to make that the way my graph looks like. Everybody okay with this? All right. Now, am I really going to make you count down 16? No. All right, we're not. All right. But we should know that the axis of symmetry is x equals 0. So x equals 0, remember, is the vertical line. All right. So hopefully everybody is seeing that. All right. that is my axis of symmetry. So my vertex means I just drop down what? I drop down 16. So all I'm going to ask you to do at this point is go down 16, and I'm just going to make a mark right here, negative 16. Right now, normally we have a y-intercept, but in this case, the y-intercept is the vertex. So we're just going to plot another point. And the easiest one is to just plug in 1. All right, if I plug in 1, what do I get? 1 comma. Somebody needs to think for themselves. 1, negative 15, right? The reason is because if y equals 1 squared minus 16, 1 minus 16, negative 15. So that means the point 1, negative 15 is on the graph. Are you with me? All right? So if 1, negative 15 is on the graph, this right here would be 1, negative 15. Now, what's the point of the axis of symmetry? It's the mirror image. So if that point's on there, then guess what? This point's on there as well. All right? So now, it's not even a big deal, but we're just graphing it now, and it would look something like that. That's the outline of the curve. Yes? Because I plugged 1 into the equation, right? I only have 1 point. 1 point does not determine the graph. I need 3 points to determine the outline of the graph. Do you hear me now? All right? Because I have to pick 1. No, you could have picked 2. You could pick 3. You could pick 4. But just 1 is the easiest one. Yes, sir.
Okay, so why is the B 0?
Because 0 divided by any, because here's what you're saying. Do you see what I highlighted? B is the number in front of the x.
Oh,
There's no x. Therefore, B is 0. Do you hear me on this?
Yeah.
Okay? Yes.
You could just explain it faster.
That's okay. You don't understand what?
I don't understand why B is 0.
There is no x here. So if I were to expand this out, look, this will help you. If I rewrote this as this, y equals x squared plus 0x minus 16.
Why is it 16?
Because b is the number in front of the x. Look, right up here. A, listen to what I'm saying now. A is the number in front of the what? No, it's not. A is the number in front of what? There you go. You see the difference? B is the number in front of the what? And C is referred to as the constant. It's after the x.
So it's just like a letter.
That's it. Yes, the letters that represent the numbers in front of specific term.
So always be 0?
So let's look at question number 2. Look, come on. Look, no, look up on the board. You don't care about that. What's A? Look, I'm going to write this down. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. What number's in front of the x squared term? Yes. So what number's in front of this? It's always been a 1. Like what number's in front of this? That's right. If there's no number, it's understood to be a 1. You with me? It's like when we solve an equation. 3x equals 6. We divide by 3. X equals 2. I don't say 1x equals 2. Agreed? So what does A equal? What does B equal? Look. B is the number in front of the x. Look at the x. Come on, you're all right, girl. Come on, fight through it. Let's go. Be strong. There's x, right? So what's in front of that? B. Do you agree? So now look at our equation. Here is the x. What number's in front of the x? There you go. So that's why B is 6. Now in this case, what's C? Somebody help her out with C. What's C?
0.
0. There is no constant. You with me now, right? Every single time, that's the way it is. Come on, don't be, be tough. All right, if you don't know something, that's perfect. All right, that's what I wish some of you would do more of. All right, pay attention the whole time and then ask questions. All right, you understand me now, right? All right, so here we go. So again, this is a fantastic review of something that's always on standardized tests now. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look now at number 2 since we started that. All right, so here we go. Now that we're in better understanding or reviewed that kind of well. All right, I have the ax symmetry. Remind me, x equals, everybody write it, negative b over 2a. Right? So in this case, the b is what? B is 6. So when you plug it into the formula, it becomes negative 6 over 2 times 1, which is negative 3. Reagan, you happy now? All right. Anybody else? Drew. Right?
Wait, why are you doing this?
So the number in front of the x squared is a 1.
Oh, I thought. Okay, never mind.
That doesn't matter as long as you're good now. No one cares. All right? We want you to ask a question. All right? And then let me show you. All right? Then make yourself a note. All right? And listen to all the questions. That's how you get smarter. All right? Now, I need to figure out what the vertex is. So y equals parentheses negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3. Y equals 9 minus 18. Y equals negative 9. So the vertex is what? Negative 3, negative 9. The ax symmetry, I forgot to write x equals negative 3. All right, come on. The equation. Thank you. Right now, again, I'm wishing some of you guys who are struggling a little bit, you have to learn to write yourself little notes. I'm not asking you to remember everything. Look back at your notes. Eventually, if you learn to look information up, you'll be much better off. All right? Now, what's the y-intercept? 0. Now, I would rather you say the y-intercept is 0, 0. Everybody good with that now? Because what's C? C is 0. There you go. All right, C is 0. All right, so here we go. I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit so I can put on my all right, let's see what we got. All right, so let's draw this in. All right. Now, what is my vertex? Negative 9, right? Negative 3, negative 9, right? So again, now I'm seeing if I went down 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is correct. So now my vertex, I had room, so I went ahead and did that. So I'm making that negative 9. Is everybody good with that? All right, I just did that just to see if I had enough room. And then I'm doing what? Don't forget, that's my what? That's my axis of symmetry. Everybody happy with that so far? Now we need my what? My y-intercept, which is 0. So we put a mark at 0. 0, 0. Everybody agree? And then you mirror it. Exactly right. So how far away am I from the axis symmetry? I think it's 3, right? 3. So I go 3 over. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now what most people do is they accidentally use the y-axis as the axis of symmetry. Be careful that you don't do that. All right, because your graph now, or your parabola, looks like this. Is everybody with me? All right. And we know it opens up, do you remember, because a is greater than 0. It would open down if a was less than 0. But I even tell my kids that's not really necessary to memorize that if you just do these 3 things that I'm asking you to do. You'll be able to see. Bless you. All right. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and let me just help you with number 6. All right. And then I'll let you finish this up. All right. So for number 6, all right, it's kind of annoying because we're going to have a what? Fraction. All right. But again, coming up on ERBs soon enough, fractions would be a good thing to kind of review. All right. So I prefer you not use a calculator, but let's work on fractions a little bit. All right. So first off, x equals negative b over 2a. So negative b over 2a. So it's going to be negative 5 over 2 times negative 1. So it's 5 halves. Everybody good with it being 5 halves? All right, so your axis symmetry, x equals 5 halves. All right, now I need to find the vertex. So y equals negative parentheses 5 halves squared plus 5 times 5 halves minus 4. Now please work on your fractions now. Come on, work on your fractions. You don't need a calculator. You're not going to be able to use a calculator on the exam. All right? On the ERBs. All of it. All right? So here we go. So y equals negative. If I square 5, what's that? 25. 2 squared is 4. Now, does everybody understand why it remains negative, correct? All right? Now, plus 25 over 2 minus 4. Everybody happy with that so far? Yes, go. I'm not understanding. What did you say? What's the issue?
When you write it down, how come?
You're squaring 5 halves. You're not squaring the negative. Very important question. Very, very important. You're doing the order of operations first. So you square before you do the negative. Everybody with me on this? All right. Now, the common denominator is what? 4. So that's going to be negative 25 fourths plus 50 fourths minus 16 fourths. Minus 16 fourths. Okay? So negative 25 plus 50 is 25. 25 minus 16 is 9. So that's 9 fourths. Anybody have an issue with that? Yes, ma'am. What did I get? Anybody else want to ask me a question and then answer their own question?
So,
Please feel free. I like that.
You know how it's like, wait, can you scroll up a little bit?
Yeah.
You know how it's like plus 5, then 5? Like, what do you do with the plus 5? Because it just says.
Okay, so listen to me now. Look, that's a multiplication problem. So I'm multiplying 5 times 5 over 2. So I want you to make that 5 over 1.
Oh, okay.
Right? Come on now. I'm telling you, the little things, the little details right now make a huge difference in your understanding of numbers. Just fix them. That's all I'm asking. And understand what I'm saying. Good. Okay, good for you, buddy. Because 4 is the same as 4 over 1.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's why I'm saying, that's why we're reviewing. If you don't participate in the review, I can't help what your grade is when you take entrance exams. All right, everybody happy now? All right, so now my vertex is at 5 halves, comma, 9 fourths. All right, now my y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 4. 0, comma, negative 4. All right, so now let's go ahead and add in. Yep. All right, here we go. All right, now, again. Now, again, for this, all right, 5 halves. That's 2.5. Does everybody agree with that? All right, so we're graphing 2.5, which is somewhere like right here. Yep, for the axis symmetry. Yep. There you have it. 2.5, just like that. All right. Now, we're going to place a dot. Well, 5 divided by 2. Agree? All right. Now, 9 divided by 4 is 2.25. 9 quarters. That's what that means. 9 quarters means 2.25, right? All right. So your vertex is at 2.25, which would be about right there. All right. Now 0, negative 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another point. So now I count over to the axis symmetry, which is what? 2.5. So I have to go 2.5 over. So there's a half, and then 1, 2. So the other point would be right there. All right. And now you're just graphing. All right. Here and here. All right. There's your graph. Now, those of you guys who have your graphing calculator handy, all right, for your graphing calculator, you would do y equals, and just type it in, negative x squared plus 5x minus 4, and just see what it looks like, and see if that's about accurate. All right? And if you want to calculate the maximum, remember you can calculate the maximum by hitting second, calc, max. You go to the left and to the right, enter, enter, and there you have the max. All right? So there's lots of ways. All right? Now again, I don't think that was that hard, so I'm going to take some more questions. But again, your homework is try to finish this up. All right? And they're obviously getting ready for the people to come visit us. So they're going to have chairs in here. I mean it, guys. I don't, people are going to be walking in and out. I have to teach you. I don't want to be distracted. So you ignore everything around you. I don't care who's walking in and walking out. Just like Mr. Shiflett came in, no one did a thing. That's exactly how I want it tomorrow. All right, because we are going to be interrupted continuously. All right, for 2 days. It's annoying. All right? We're being, the school is being accredited. All right? Yes. For what?
To find the graph.
You go to y equals and just type in the equation. So you would type in negative x squared plus 5x minus 4. And you would graph it. Are we doing number 6?
Yeah.
All right. At lunch. Come into lunch. All right, guys. Good job.
These are actually like the graphing quadratics test.
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay.